What's up? Hi, hello. It is Monday the 16th. My name is Greg Offner. I am an expert on disruption and creativity, and boy, it's a good thing because we are going through a ton of disruption, and the fix is going to require a lot of creativity. And that is what inspired today's video, which on March 16th is about change, because that's something that we're all dealing with right now. Is a ton of change. And if you, like me, have had your business disrupted, if you, like me, have had your life disrupted by this thing called COVID-19 lately, you're thinking about change. You're thinking a lot about change. You're probably thinking, how is this going to impact me? How will this affect me? Where do I fit in? If I'm not someone who can work from home, you're definitely thinking about that. Those of us that are lucky enough to work from home, we're trying to figure out our business. But there are people that can't work from home. And so in this time of crazy change, crazy disruption that's going on, we're all wondering where we fit in. How do we contribute? What does tomorrow look like? How do we plan for the days, weeks, months ahead financially with our family? How do we get back to normal? And it got me to thinking about this ancient Greek philosopher. Now, this ancient Greek philosopher has something in common with Jesus, and that is that no actual writing of his exists. So, there's really no actual writing that Jesus did. It's all writing about things he said. Well, same thing with Heraclitus, with this ancient Greek philosopher. He lived and practiced and created ideas well over 2,000 years ago, even before Marcus Aurelius. And one of the things that Heraclitus was fascinated by was change. Now, I'm going to tie this together into how it impacts you and how you can benefit from this. But Heraclitus was fascinated by change, and he had a very famous statement. At least this statement is attributed to him because he didn't write anything that we know of. These are all secondhand accounts. And here's what it was said that he said. He said, "We both step and do not step in the same rivers. We are and we are not." Now you're probably thinking like, whoa, dude, super woo-woo, super out there, super philosophical concept. Let me say it again and break it down a little bit. We both step and do not step in the same rivers. We are and are not. Now you don't have to get all philosophical. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to make it easy and simple to digest because this is a huge concept by this philosopher, Heraclitus. And it was all about change. And so imagine this concept. I'm thinking of a number right now. I'm thinking of a number. I've got it in my brain. I'm thinking of it. You don't know what it is. This isn't about guessing it or getting it right. It's simply that you don't know what it is. Now, when I tell you that number, the number's 5. It's a small difference, but you are different than you were just moments ago. You are a different person. There's a new neural pathway, a new firing that happened in your brain when you learned that information. And so when Heraclitus says, we both step and do not step in the same rivers, what he's saying is that the minute we choose to make a new choice, the minute we choose to take a new action, the moment, the second, the instant we make that choice, we become a different person. So when we make that decision to step into the river, just by making the decision, we have changed. And then when we step in the river, we change again. And he goes on to say that when we step into and out of the river, we do it as different beings. So I know this is a deep, heady philosophical concept that Heraclitus put forward and that I'm sharing with you now, but it relates to what we're going through. Because as I, like you, am sitting here thinking how this impacts my business, how this impacts my life, worrying in some cases, wondering, how do we get back to normal? I find the answer inside this statement of Heraclitus is that we don't. The way things were is always past tense, and we never go back because change is constant. When we make this decision, what will we do next? We're creating a new. And so this fear, this concern of how do we get back to normal? How do we go back to the way things were? We never will, but we never did. So you're not losing anything. This doesn't take away the challenges that we're all facing. We have to figure out how to move forward. Thanks, David. Appreciate that, smartass. So if you're watching this, I did this video initially on Facebook Live, and you'll probably see this on YouTube. One of my friends, lots of my friends are levying smart-ass comments. I would expect nonetheless from good friends. But let me draw this into you and how you relate this to your life. Because we don't have to know the answers. There are so many books and statements written about waiting until we know the perfect answer, waiting until we've got it exactly right. That's the problem. That's analysis paralysis. Sometimes done is better than perfect. And so when we think about how we move forward with our business, with our life, how do we innovate? Because some of us that maybe can't go to work need to innovate. And the way it was isn't the way it's going to be. That's what Heraclitus meant when he said, we are and we are not. We both step and do not step into the same river. He wasn't tripping on acid. He was getting real deep in this concept of who we are and who we can become. And who we can become is only limited by our stubbornness to cling on to who we were, to cling on to what was. You know, I found out when I had to go through all this vocal surgery that my identity as a dueling pianist had to change, or else I couldn't move forward with my life. And we're all having to confront this realization that who we were 5 days ago may hold us back from who we need to be tomorrow to succeed in this new world. Because even when we get this figured out, even when there is a vaccine, and even when we are relatively healthier than we feel we are as a country now, things are still going to change, and they're not going to go back to the way they were 5 days ago. Not everything will change drastically. This doesn't mean we're going to be living in bubbles and have flying cars and eat our meals in pill form. I'm not saying it's that kind of crazy extreme change. But just like when Heraclitus says we both step and do not step into the same rivers, and what he means by that is that the minute we choose to do something different, we have become a different person just by making that choice. Just by being in this situation right now, everything's different. And when we move forward, everything will continue to be different. So it's not a question of can we get back to the way it was. We're never going to move forward if we keep trying to get back to the way it was. We have to decide what we want the next thing to be. And so if you're like me and your income has been significantly disrupted by this event and you're able to work remote, you're able to really plan and plot and determine a new course forward. And I would encourage you as you get creative and you get innovative about how you can create revenue as you move forward, to take a moment to be grateful that we are in a position where some of us can do that remotely. If you are not in a position where you can work remotely, where you can innovate and iterate like some of us are able to do, take a moment to still look around and be grateful. Because there are folks who are going through this with less resources than you have. There are folks who are going through this on other continents with less access to fresh water and electricity than you have. And while we're all in this and we're all experiencing different levels and intensities of the suck that is dealing with this program, know that you're not alone. The people in the house next door to you feel just as uncertain as you do. The people in the house down the road from you, if they're lucky enough to be in a house, are wondering the same things you are wondering. What does tomorrow look like? The advantage we have is knowing that we can choose. We may not be in total control of the outcome, but we can choose the activity. We can choose what we do next. And that dictates what happens next. And that dictates what happens next. It's a domino effect. And focusing on what we don't want, focusing on what we're unhappy about, is a sure path to find more of what we don't want and find more of what we're unhappy about. It's not easy, but it is simple if we simply focus on what we want and let go of what we had. Because the past is the past and the future is all we've got in front of us. To let go of what we had and run towards what we want. And again, if you're a person whose income has been impacted by this, because all of our lives have, but if your income is impacted by this, focusing on what you don't have anymore isn't going to help you get where you want to be. It's getting creative and focusing on what could be, because we all have unique strengths that we can play on right now. It may not feel that way. It may feel really shitty. That's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that, but it's not okay to live there. You know, somebody said self-pity is an okay place to visit, but it's a terrible place to buy a home. And if we get caught in that trap, and it's easy, I've been falling into it many times throughout the day these last couple of days. It's a cycle, but it's about recognizing the cycle, breaking it, and going forward. And that's why Heraclitus' words, the reason for this video, seemed so helpful for me and hopefully for you today. Because we step into and out of the river as different human beings. And when we all come out of this, and we will be different human beings. What kind of human being will you choose to be? I believe you're an innovative human being. I believe you're creative. I believe you are capable of redefining yourself. If you defined yourself as, let's just say, a server or an entertainer, you're my people's. I was there for a long time. But that's not who you are. That's just how you made a living. You are so much more than that. And so dig deep. And because you can't make a living right now as a server, what else can you do to add value to the people around you? Because that's what it's about. It's about adding value. And there's something you can do if you really get creative and focus on what you want to achieve. There's something you do that can add value, that can help you through this, that can help the people around you through this. So it's a bit of a rant, I know. It feels like kind of a ranty time in our lives right now. And there's so much information coming at us, causing us to react in all these super passionate and maybe not always well thought out ways. This is my attempt at hopefully a somewhat well thought out video. It's live, it's from the heart. And it's what I think will help right now. So if you're just tuning in, this will go up on YouTube. You can watch this from the beginning. But we talked a little bit about this ancient philosopher Heraclitus and his philosophy, his belief, his perspective on change, which was that we are always changing. And his statement exactly was, we both step and do not step into the same rivers. It talks about how we change constantly. And I believe this information has helped me just talking about it. Hopefully it helps you. And you take this and make a positive change tomorrow. Let go of what we had yesterday. It's different. Just by definition of being in this, we're all together in this. Yesterday's gone. Trying to get it back? Not at all going to happen. It's not at all even possible. But what we can do is chase after a future that we do want. If our job, if our livelihood has been impacted, we can create another way to add value. It's really tough to do. Well, it's really simple to do. It's just not that easy. But you can do it. I believe that you can do it. And if there's something I can do to help you, get on the phone and just ideate and chat about ideas for a little bit, I'm happy to. I'm happy to. Guys, I love you. Thank you for watching this. My name is Greg Offner. I am a disruption and creativity expert. And just like you, I am trying to make tomorrow a better day. And I believe you can do it. Have an awesome evening. Bye-bye.